After spending graduation night together, Emma and Dexter go their separate ways, but their lives remain intertwined. So that's the Netflix, I guess, description of the show called One Day. That's new on Netflix, and I watched it, and it completely wrecked me. So let's talk about it. I have some notes here on my laptop, so I'm gonna use it to help me go through this kind of organized, hopefully, because I have a lot to say. One Day is a British romantic drama television series based on the 2009 novel of the same name by David Nichols, as well as the 2011 film adaptation. It follows the 20-year-old relationship of Emma Morley and Dexter Mayhew, who meet at a graduation ball after graduating from the University of Edinburgh, and star Ambika Maud and Leo Woodall in the lead roles. They filmed the series from 4th of July 2022 to 19th of January of 2023, and it premiered on 8th of February of 2024 on Netflix as a limited run series, which is kind of interesting to me because I feel like usually these days Netflix shows or like shows on whatever platform kind of are produced in a very fast way. I feel like they film a season in half a year and then in another half a year the show just comes out. But this took, I guess a couple months. How many months? July, August, September, October, November, December, and January. This took around 7 months to film, and then it premiered more than a year later, which I feel like is the interesting aspect of this, that it like took so long, I guess, to like edit and prepare. There's also a dedication at the end of the series to Justin Eli, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, who was a senior online editor, or also known as like a finishing editor, and he passed unexpectedly. He also worked on The Crown and Wes Anderson's latest film Asteroid City. So in case you were wondering who the dedication was for, now you know. Now, I feel like we can dive into what I think about it. This show, I have no words because it just absolutely wrecked me. Like, I can't remember the last time I cried so hard at a series or a movie, and it was like very unexpected because I can't remember how I kind of got to know that the show exists. I think I just saw it on social media. I think it was like, her name is Kat, I can't remember her like full name, and she's I think like on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, and she posted a short clip of her like absolutely sobbing watching something. It said, like, there was a text on the video saying when two people can't get the timing right and then it's too late, like something in that sense. And I was like, what is this? So I researched a little bit about that show, and I found it that it's on Netflix, that it's based on a book, and then there was already like a movie, and this is like a new adaptation of it. I started watching the show when I got sick because I didn't have anything else to do, and I was like, now is the time to watch it. And first of all, I really liked the way it was kind of like laid out, like the timeline, because every episode was like 1 year, besides the last couple. I think the last couple were like over multiple years, but like in total it was like a life story of a friendship turned into a relationship over 20 years. The way it was done was just genius because every episode you watched, you knew that like you will time jump into the future, and so then like multiple things will have happened by then. So I think that gave it like such an interesting approach, and I really loved that. In the beginning, like when I first started watching it, I thought maybe it's just gonna be another like rom-com, another show of like a relationship, whatever, but then I pretty quickly realized that it's going to be something different or something more deep, which is honestly what I've been lacking in like new shows and movies over the last couple of years. I don't watch as many new things, but from what I've seen, it just seemed like everything is just the same, and this had so much depth. I really liked the aspect of like exploring a friendship between a guy and a girl, because I still don't know if I believe in that myself, because I feel like maybe a guy and a girl can be just platonic friends, but there are always some limits and rules to it. And even with this series, we could see that it also turned into like love and something more, and even a relationship at the end. Also, I forgot to mention in the beginning that this is going to be like full of spoilers, because I really want to talk about it and don't have to think about like what would be a spoiler spoiler or not, because I don't think I can like review it properly without actually saying everything that happened. And so, I mean, it kind of only confirmed my theory that a guy and girl can't be just like true best friends. But I mean, I don't know, I'm still deciding with my life and experiences, you know. And then I feel like the vibe kind of changed, I guess, in the second half of the series, because in the beginning, I loved it, because whatever you thought was gonna happen, like right in that moment when you had an expectations, like something else happened or like they cut it off, which I feel like was so much fun, because it was great to always be kind of surprised and not play into the viewer's desire. I mean, it was based on the book, so I guess they can't really decide for themselves, like the writers, to film it a certain way, or I guess to write it a certain way. But like, in a little while, I was always like, okay, so I'm expecting this to happen, so it's not gonna happen. But then, like I said, it quickly changed, because all of a sudden, I can't really explain it, but I feel like the second half was just different in a way. What I also noticed was that towards the end, I feel like the story was more about Dexter, the male lead role, the male lead character, than about Emma, because once she kind of like got her dream, I guess, job wise and what she wanted from life, it just moved towards Dexter, because there wasn't anything else to kind of go off of or grow. And I mean, then she died, and then obviously it was mostly from the perspective of and about Dexter, because she died and he had to live with that. I have like a half an hour long video on my phone where I'm just bawling, crying. I was so shocked with the second to last episode. It was, I think, the 13th one, because that was the episode at the end where she died, and I was like, what? I mean, I kind of expected something to happen, because for me at that point it was just too happy and kind of perfect. But I thought maybe they're not gonna end up together, because they were having some like infertility issues, because Emma came to Dexter like saying, now I think I want a baby, and they started trying, and then it jumped into the next episode, so like a year later, and she still wasn't pregnant, and like she was really sad about it. So I thought maybe they're not going to be able to kind of like survive and surpass that issue in their relationship, and eventually they're going to split up. I didn't expect that she would die. So obviously I was crying, and then the last episode came where he was like dealing with it over the years, and he was having an insanely terrible time. These two main actors and even the rest of the cast, all of them were phenomenal actors. Like, I believed them everything. The scene at the train station of Dexter when he was leaving, I think, his parents' house. He was having a hard time because his mom was sick, and he went to the phone booth and called Emma. Oh my god. And I guess the whole last episode, because that was basically almost only about Dexter, so he had a lot of screen time. And I mean, oh my god, the way he played, and in general, the acting was so natural. Like, the little moments, like, in between the conversations, you know, where you say something and then the other person makes a certain face, like, they portrayed it so well. And even, like, the job of the cameraman. There would be, like, kind of pauses during the conversation, because obviously it's not like you talk and talk and talk and talk, but sometimes you pause and think, and they did show the faces of the characters in those moments. Like, sometimes some moments were even awkward, but that made it, like, so real and so natural that, like I said, I felt like it was actually happening. There were two moments that in the show that I hated. I mean, there were more, like, for example, Emma dying, but there was one moment where I was like, oh no. And that was when Emma and Dexter kissed in the maze. What was it? It was someone's wedding. Oh, was it it was Tilly's and her husband's wedding. I can't remember his name. Emma and Dexter went outside, and he told her that he's engaged and that he's expecting a baby with his fiance. What was her name? Sylvie. And I was like, oh my god, this is it. They're never gonna be together. I was kind of like fine with it at that point. And then they kissed after they agreed on being friends and like keeping seeing each other or something. And I was like, no, like, I don't want him to be like that. Like, their first kiss after, I guess, the night of the graduation, like, it was so built up, like, the whole thing about it, like, we were waiting for it to happen, and then it was in this way, and I was like, no, please. I was honestly grossed out with that. And the second one was when Sylvie, the redhead, cheated on Dexter with his best friend, Callum. Which, I mean, in the end, you know, it made them break up, and he could be with Emma, so I mean, it's fine. But these 2 moments, I was just like, what the fuck? I can't even watch like TikToks and YouTube videos, shorts on Instagram, whatever, because whenever I see something like a short clip, I still start to cry. When I was finishing the series a couple of days ago, I could not stop crying, and I had such a horrible headache from it that I had to take a painkiller because it was so bad. Like my whole face was swollen. I think I have a picture, so I'm gonna insert it somewhere here. But it was so bad that I was like, I can't go out of my room into the kitchen to eat dinner because people are gonna see me and they're gonna like ask what happened, and I would just be like, oh my god, I just watched this series. It absolutely destroyed me. And I messaged my sister and I asked her like, have you already seen this show? And she was like, no, I don't want to. I heard about it and I'm not emotionally stable enough right now to watch it. And I was like, you're right, girl, don't do it. But it's so good. Like I want to watch the movie version of 2011 with Anne Hathaway, and I also want to read the book, but I don't know if I can survive this. Like I'm telling you, I did not expect to cry so bad and for it to end so badly, because I mean, I keep telling myself that it's just a show, it's just a story, just a movie, but then I think about that it probably happens in real life too, you know, like stories like this, and that makes me even more sad because it's not just fiction. Oh my god, there's another day party happening close to my accommodation, so I'm just gonna try to wrap this up real quick. I think that's it from my notes. I kind of wish I watched it with someone, like a friend, and we could like share the pain together and, you know, comfort each other. But I'm really happy I got to see it. But I will think about this for a long time, and like I said, whenever I will see like a video on TikTok, because I was trying to look for people's like reactions and also sounds so I could use it for a reel or a TikTok, and I just had to turn it off. But if you're ready for a really high quality, amazing actor's performance, relationship, friendship, love story, go ahead and watch it. Just have a huge tissue box ready for when you do, because I think I had some on my bed because I'm still recovering from like sickness. I used them all and I had to get up, get some more, stop the show for like 2 seconds. I was like, I can't do this. And let me know if you've already watched it and what you think about it, because I feel like there is some controversy between like the book and the series, but I think mostly people are saying that it's like a good adaptation. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a very high review, like high rating, I think. Let me know so we can be in pain together, and I'll see you next time. Bye!